I am back, you humanoid filths. Today I will not be talking about a game. Today I will be talking about the start of a journey. A journey which will span hundreds of hours, countless rage quits, and the collection of achievements that are among the most difficult in the whole of gaming. I will be talking about Crusader Kings 2, or the last good game by a dystopian Swedish mega-corporation known as Paradox Interactive, whose only purpose in this world is to generate extremism among the modern youth through letting them virtually live out their fantasies of genocide and ethno-nationalism with the pretext of capturing history. Crusader Kings 2 is a simulation of what it would feel like to be a ruler or nobility in medieval Europe and the surrounding areas. You are left to micromanage every single little aspect of your empire, starting from raising a family and managing your dynasty, to diplomatic maneuvering with other states and own subordinates, planning and executing important personal journeys and organizing events, advancing the technology of your lands, etc. This video will be the first of a series, as even when speedrunning, completing all achievements takes hundreds of hours. I am fortunate in that I was deeply familiar with the game before starting, so I knew exactly what to do to succeed. But if you pick the game up from no experience, you can easily expect 1,000 hours from this historical sandbox. This is why I am going to say it now, from the very beginning, that you should not go into this game with the expectation of collecting achievements, but rather for genuine interest in the history of the era. The game also forces you to play in what it calls the Iron Man mode in order to gain achievements, which is one of the worst fucking achievement-related obstructions I have ever seen, as it requires you to completely start over if you manage to mess up big time, meaning you could lose tens of hours of gameplay in an instant. This wouldn't even be that much of a problem if the game wasn't so RNG dependent, as because this game tries to fully capture the medieval experience, your characters can just kick the bucket at any time in the game, which, if not prepared for, can literally end the playthrough. There is a way around this, and it's called save scumming, but even that is not perfect. I'll get into it later. Anyways, if I started explaining the game and its mechanics here, we'd be here for hours. I will just start describing my runs and experiences with certain achievements. I tried to go for both some difficult and some easy ones, as I don't want to discover that I only have the worst Aspanes left sometime in the future. To start things off, I thought I'd go for a relatively simple achievement, as I hadn't seriously played the game in years and wanted to warm myself up somewhat. Before I get to my first tip, I want to mention that these tips are mainly meant for intermediate players. This game is too deep for me to provide tips on how to play the game, but I do want to bring out some stuff I wished I knew from before I started going for the achievements. So, my first tip actually comes from before starting the game, and it is that you should make sure to change the starting settings. I think that the most important one that makes the game a lot more fun is that you should turn defensive pacts off. This makes it so that you don't get Napoleonic Age-style coalitions against yourself whenever you go on a conquest rampage. Then there is the secret religious cults mechanic. Make sure to turn that shit off, as otherwise a portion of your vassals will sometimes mass change religions randomly, which could cost you the game. This happened to me on my Byzantine game and it pissed me off to no end. Furthermore, I recommend having siege events off, as it kills too many of your troops, and sunset invasion off, as it can be annoying. For other settings, I recommend checking the Crusader Kings 2 wiki achievements page to see if it recommends playing with certain settings turned on or off for specific achievements. That is also the guide I used for my playthroughs, and most of it works perfectly. Anyways, finally to the game itself. I started out with the classic William the Bastard in Normandy 1066 to replicate history and to get the On English Neck and Norman Yoke achievement. I did make some mistakes, as I hadn't played the game in a while, but otherwise it was very straightforward. I just had to conquer England from the Anglo-Saxons. Not a big deal. This achievement is one of the best that Crusader Kings 2 has to offer, as it combines history with fun gameplay, but it's also short and sweet. I recommend this if you want to learn the mechanics of the game. However, my second playthrough was serious. I planned to go for some very specific Crusader achievements. To do that, I had to start as a certain ruler in France, win a crusade, give it to my beneficiary, play as them, and conquer most of the Middle East for the Christian faith. The beginning was really boring, as I had nothing more to do than to bide my time and build up my power base in France by killing my neighbors and growing my influence with the French king. However, I did get lucky in the beginning and randomly got the chance to receive the Scarred for Life achievement, which is quite rare otherwise. Anyways, eventually, I stepped up and took over the throne of France. To ensure your success in the game, I really recommend you to make as many alliances as you can. Make sure you get children by always being married, and to send those children off to other European courts to forge alliances. I would not have got so far in this run without my alliances to England and Denmark, for example. After I became the ruler of France, I began to expand my realm. This was a bit more fun than playing as a vassal, but I always knew I would have to eventually leave this place for the Holy Land. When the Crusade eventually came, I jumped on it and thankfully won by contributing the most to sieges and battles. After becoming the beneficiary, I was of course surrounded by rulers of a foreign religion, but I managed to conquer them by my superior diplomacy and warfare. A big contributor to my success was retinues, which I recommend you to build. They are like a standing army that you can move wherever you want without angering your vassals or depleting your own armies. However, they are expensive. With that beneficiary, I also managed to take the path of religious worship and eventually become a saint. Well, and then I went on to conquer the whole Middle East. Again, no big deal, right? After getting that achievement as well, it was time for my longest run in this part. I played as the Byzantine Empire with a goal to unify Rome, as it is one of the most fun nations to play in the game. The gameplay as the Byzantines is a bit different, as your government is structured in such a way that you can give out royal titles as you want and also take them away if the vassal doesn't please you anymore. However, you are stuck in a government where succession is decided by elections, so your empire is not guaranteed to carry over to your children. If you happen to play as the Byzantines, I want to bring to your attention that you can bribe influential electors to vote for your candidate, even if they are a baby. I did not know that in the beginning, so I had to just assassinate my opposition. Anyways, the game as Rome is just a cycle of conquest and conversion. Once I gained the areas required for the Hellenic Reformation, I converted to that religion and reformed it for an achievement. Then, I save scummed and went back, as I wanted to keep orthodoxy. If you want to save scum, you can do so by pausing the game, opening the task manager, and exterminating the program. This is the only foolproof way to do it. Just make sure to not unpause the game under any circumstances if you mess up, as if you do and it saves, you are stuck with that timeline. Reloading of prior saves is not possible. Of course, I picked up some other achievements along the way, but they are not worth bringing up, as they can be earned from any playthrough. I want to also bring up that the end was really annoying when I was finishing up my empire, as I had to manually scan my lands for any independent rulers. You will not get the conquest-based achievements if someone who is not your subject holds even a town inside your borders. Anyways, so far, the achievements from Crusader Kings 2 have proven to be really good. The ones I went for were well designed, both in name, display picture and gameplay. I recommend this game to everyone even remotely interested in grand strategy, but do keep in mind that playing Crusader Kings 2 only for its achievements will probably burn you out quite quickly. This is also why I will be taking a break from the game until I feel like continuing my journey sometime in the future. As my PC would catch on fire if I made a longer video, this is it for the first part of CK2 achievements. The designs and ideas are very fun, but playing Iron Man mode is incredibly stressful, especially as the game is not always perfectly designed. It was made by Paradox Interactive after all. If you want to play the game yourself, keep in mind that it is so bare bones that it is virtually unplayable unless you have all the DLCs, but you do not have to pay the full price for all of them, as there is a monthly subscription thing, which gives you access to the full game for as long as you are subscribed. Of course, certain Russian websites can get you the same thing for free, and you can still get achievements, but you will have to find that out yourself, as I will not promote anything illegal on my Steam or YouTube accounts. There will be no achievements tier list yet, as I obviously have like 85% of the achievements yet to experience. I wanted to divide this game into parts, as doing it all at once would kill my mental sanity. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe for great achievements reviews in the future. See you fuckers next time.